Okay, so we're living in the age of AI, right? And that means we have literally all of human knowledge right at our fingertips. But here's a thought. What if getting smarter isn't really about getting answers faster? Today, we're going to explore this really powerful new way to learn, one that combines the incredible speed of AI with the depth of, well, a very, very old technology, the book.
So, let's kick things off with a pretty crucial question for our time. I mean, we are absolutely flooded with information, more than ever before in human history. But does all that access actually make us think more deeply? Or are we just getting really good at skimming, just floating on the surface of all that knowledge?
And this right here, this brings us to what you could call the AI information paradox. See, on one hand, AI gives us this incredible promise, instant access, crazy efficiency. But, and this is a big but, there's a real peril. It's called the filter bubble. It's basically an echo chamber where the AI just keeps feeding us stuff that confirms what we already think. And without us even realizing it, our whole perspective gets narrower and narrower. So how do we fight this? How do we break out? Well, the solution might actually surprise you. It's not some new app or the latest productivity hack. It's timeless. It's all about slowing down and rediscovering the incredible power of deep reading. That focused, deliberate act of just getting completely lost in a book. The reading researcher Marianne Wolf puts it perfectly. She warns that this just Google it mindset we all have, it stops us from building the actual mental circuits we need for real critical thinking and empathy. It's like when we just outsource our memory to a search engine, we risk losing that ability to connect ideas in a deep, meaningful way. So, deep reading, it's not just about cramming in facts. It's about training your brain on how to think. Okay, but here's the best part. This is not an either-or situation at all. You don't have to choose between the speed of AI and the depth of a good book. The truly revolutionary approach here is to combine them, to literally supercharge your reading with AI.
And we're going to break this down into two really simple but powerful techniques you can start using like today: the author deep dive and confrontational reading.
All right, let's dive into the first technique. This one is all about turning AI into your own personal research assistant, so you can understand not just what a book says, but the entire universe of thought behind it. So we call this the author deep dive. The whole idea is to break out of the four corners of the book's pages. You're basically using AI to become a detective, uncovering the author's background, what motivates them, all their other interviews and articles. It really helps you grasp the full context of where their ideas are coming from.
And the process? It's surprisingly simple. First, just ask your AI to act like a super librarian and find every single interview, article, or video that features the author. Then, you collect all of that into one place, maybe a tool like Notion. But listen, don't stop there. This is where you go deeper. For example, you could try a prompt like, based on these interviews, what are the author's core intellectual influences, and how do they show up in this book? Or even, what are the most common criticisms of this author's work? This is what reveals those hidden connections. It helps you truly understand the mind behind the book.
Okay, let's move on to our second technique. This one kind of builds on the first. It's a little more advanced, and it's designed specifically to shatter that filter bubble we were talking about earlier. So, the inspiration for this whole method, it comes from the incredible story of a woman named Lisa Boo. It's really a story about what happens when your biggest dream just completely falls apart, and you're forced to find a new one. You see, Lisa's lifelong dream was to be an opera singer, but at age 15, that dream was just crushed, and she was absolutely terrified of what she called a life of second-rate happiness. So, with no one there to guide her, she turned to the one thing she could: books. She started reading to try and find a new way forward. Then one day, she comes across this puzzle that just changes everything. See, growing up in China, the only world map she had ever seen was the one on the left. So when she saw the map on the right for the first time, she just thought, well, that's wrong. But that led her to a much bigger question. Which one is actually correct? And the answer? Well, neither of them is correct. Or maybe both of them are. And this sparked this profound realization for her, that every map, every story, every single piece of information we take in is written from a specific point of view. There's no single objective center of the world. Our entire understanding of reality is shaped by who is telling the story. This huge insight led her to start practicing something she called comparative reading. We're going to take that idea and supercharge it with AI, and we'll call it confrontational reading. just to really emphasize how it challenges our own beliefs. The whole idea is to intentionally read books that clash with each other. You're forcing yourself to engage with totally opposing ideas so you can find your own truth somewhere in the middle. And you guessed it, here's where we bring AI back into the picture. So after you've read two books that argue against each other, you take all your notes, feed them into an AI, and ask it to be your discussion partner. You could ask it something like, hey, synthesize the main arguments from both of these authors. Where do they agree on the facts but completely disagree on how to interpret them? It's literally like having a personal debate moderator for your own mind.
Okay, so let's pull all of this together now. We've talked about the real risk of shallow thinking, and we've explored two really powerful techniques to help you go deeper. Let's boil this all down into a simple, modern learning cycle you can actually use.
So, here it is, your new learning cycle. Step 1. You start with a book. You ground your thinking in something that's slow and deeply considered. Step 2. You deepen the understanding with AI. You explore the context with an author dive, or you challenge your own views with a confrontational text. And finally, Step 3. You use AI as a partner to help you structure, synthesize, and then share your own unique insights. It's this incredibly powerful loop that combines the very best of human depth with machine intelligence.
Look, at the end of the day, AI is great at giving us faster answers. But books, when you combine them with these techniques, they give us something way more valuable. Better questions. They teach us how to think for ourselves. So, as we wrap this up, the real question isn't just about what you're going to learn next. It's, in this new age of easy answers, how will you choose to think?